Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jay Clyde, um, bringing you some feedback for this week's round of battles. Again, you guys did a great job. Shouts to Beat Conductors and DJ Olo for putting on a great event. Shout out to Ma Dukes and the whole James Yancey Foundation. We're really super proud and happy to be a part of it again. So thanks to everybody involved, and you guys put on a great show again. I can't believe the random out of the hat matchups came together again, like they did last week. But we had some really outstanding battles this week, and I'm gonna get to all of them on my meticulous notes like I did last time. One thing I do want to say before I start going through each battle is that this one thing came up even more this week for a lot of you guys, and that was there was a lot of beats that had either little or no bass at all. Talking about maybe you did have a bass line, but it wasn't turned up or EQ'd right, so it didn't really come through. And I listened to all the battles on the headphones with the on the YouTube video, so I could hear everybody's mix clearly. So there was I can't tell you. I mean, I wrote down so many times, no bass or turn the bass up, that sort of thing. So just make sure you guys are aware of that heading into the next round of battles, because that stuff is important. It actually is going to come up in one of the battles as like the deciding factor on one of them, because it was so close. That's what made the difference for me. So yeah, just be wary of that. But again, you guys did a great job on, as a whole. So I don't want to get too nitpicky, but that's just a note for you guys moving forward in any battles that you do, and especially if you're, not everybody submits production for the purpose of artists making songs with it, but if you do, you're definitely gonna need that full sound to be able to place records with people, because it stands out when you don't have it, for sure. And if you can add like a really dope bass line to it, it'll make your music pop more than the next guy that doesn't worry about it. So just be conscious of that as you move forward. So the first battle we had, First Spawn against E21. And man, I gotta say, first Spawn, came out impressive again, man. Like that first week, I think maybe it was just the choice of tracks that you played, and I didn't get a good sense of who you are as a producer. But that first track came out had the super slappy drums, real good bass. The vibe was a little bit more chill than I normally like, but it was still a very dope track. E21, I mean, we know what you do, man. Like you're always gonna have the nice just banging drums and dusty samples and a nice swing. But on that first track, the first thing I wrote was no bass line. I think your tracks, and I don't know if it was just this week, the ones you were playing, but I think all of them. Let me see. Check my notes. Yeah, I think all of them needed a bass line or more bass altogether. So just be wary of that, because your chops and drums and the whole general vibe is exactly what I look for. It just needs a little bit more bottom to it to stand out. So with this one, it was a pretty close battle back and forth until the third round. First Spawn just came out with a banger for the third round, and kind of ended it. So I gave the victory to First Spawn on that one. Second battle, Kel C against Theme, and let's see, Kel C. Of course, he's always going to come with the real dope mixes and swing and drums, and if you guys want to look at somebody that does their bass very well, look at Kel C, because he always has a very full sound, which I like. A little bit, I will say, Kel on these three beats. A little bit too on the pretty vibe for my taste. I mean, still, don't get me wrong, still very impressive pieces, but for a battle, I thought they were a little more, doing a little something with the keys, and it kind of sounded a little on the kind of R&B chill side as opposed to like a battle vibe. But I can't take away the fact that all the tracks were dope. So, Theme came out with a real interesting flip on a classic, the D'Angelo flip. I really liked it, and I had you taking the first round on that. Kelsey came out with another very dope track, but still kind of chill, a little more chill than I wanted. Theme, your second one had I really liked the bass line on that, but it kind of lacked a little. It kind of lacked some movement overall, the dynamics of it. It was kind of like you would just kind of have the sample playing and then like filter it down or take it out and just let the bass line rock, and that was kind of the end of it. But I think after this battle, you should build on that track and just add more to it. And then the third round, Kelsey just came with that knock. It was just the beat was chill, but it was still. I mean, the third track was just fire. It was fire. So I got to give you that. So I gave Kelsey the win on that one. Third battle was Hobbs Duende against DJ JC. This one I gave the nod to Hobbs Duende. Again, Hobbs, man. I liked the ideas that you have for sure, but I wrote down no bass line or low bass, so make sure you're aware of that as you move on in the battle, and try to incorporate that into the joints that you play. JC, JC was kind of the opposite. On the first beat, like the bass is like super distorted. So definitely keep an eye on that, JC, as you move forward. It's just be a little more conscious of your mixes. Sometimes that's on purpose, which you might have done. But it just, when I first heard it, it was like, ooh, it's a little much on that one. But yeah, let's go to the next battle, which was Prolific against Coupe de Ville. Prolific, I got to give it to you, man. You've been the last 3 weeks. Each week has been better than the one before. So very nice progression. Really nice drums on all the tracks and soul samples, which I liked. Again, you're one of the guys that I think would really benefit from adding a lot more bass and dynamics to your tracks. So just try and get a handle on that if you can. Coupe de Ville, that first track, man, the slapping drums is simple, but it was dynamic at the same time. And that's hard to do. I was feeling the first one. Prolific came back with a real interesting battle beat with the really nice drums and even had some synth stuff in there. And I think on the third round, I ended up giving a win to Prolific. It was a nice flip on a familiar sample. Still needed your bass in there, so watch out for that. But yeah, that third one was the one that kind of put it over the top for Prolific. So congrats to you. The next battle was Steve Bills against DJ Big Smooth. This one was very close, and one that I alluded to in the beginning about the bass line. So, who was it? This first came out. Steve Bills came out with a really nice battle vibe with the big horns and excuse me, some nice changes, and the drum choice. Using some old school joints, but those drums, it can go either way. You can kind of it can kind of be a little bit cliche, but you can also have that nostalgic vibe to it. And I think you're kind of walking that line where you're on the nostalgic side. So I like that first track for sure. Um, and then let's see the next one. Oh yeah, it's it. The second round. Big Smooth's track was just absolute fire. He got that one. He got that one for sure. And then this is interesting because in the last round, Steve Bill's man, that last track that you played was bananas. The sample and the drum programming was awesome. The dynamics of it, your changes and everything. But again, the lack of a bottom to it. It didn't have any, it didn't have any, big, like a big bass line or a synth bass line or even like 808s. And so that was a little bit disappointing. And to be honest with you, overall, I thought this was a very even battle. And all that had to go to was, man, like Smooth had a more full, complete sound. I didn't have to almost like deduct points for a lack of bass in his mixes, whereas I did with Steve Bill. So really, because of the bass lines and the presence of that, I gave the victory to Big Smooth. But again, a very close battle. Both of y'all did great, but Steve, definitely be mindful of that as you move forward because it's just going to take your tracks to a whole other level. You have a great kind of unorthodox ear for what's going on. So I think, man, once you get a tune with like a MIDI controller, like keyboard, I mean, you're gonna be out of here. So keep that up. Next battle was Freak Sinatra against Phil Real. Again, for Freak Sinatra, first, actually all the tracks you played, it seemed like either there was no bass or very low bass, and nice and very nice tracks too. Like first track was like super dope. Just didn't really have much of a bottom to it. Second track, really dope soul sample, and it didn't even really have much of a bottom to it either. But it was so dope that I still really liked the track. And then let's see, and the third one. Same thing. I mean, very great programming. Nice track. You have like the basis of a really really nice track. It's just that bottom either. I don't know if it wasn't there, it wasn't coming through on the how you recorded your set. But man, just be wary of that because this could have been a whole different battle if there had been like some nice bass lines in there. Phil Real, he's just coming out with the sick, knocking, funky, swinging drums and ill bass lines. So you guys, you're hearing me talk about bass lines. If you want to see a great example of somebody who did a really good job with it, go back and listen to Phil Real's set. And then the third track was just I wrote down fatality in all caps. Like that, to me, that was maybe the best beat of the day by anyone. So yeah, Phil Real, you're gonna move on. And again, Freak Sinatra, man, like you're seriously dope. Just try to get that sound a little fuller moving forward. So, but yeah, Phil Real won that one. Let's see what we got next. We had Verse against Sound Minds. And this, to me, guys, was the battle of the day. This was, to me, the best battle of the day. Verse, you came out first with a really interesting flip. And I really liked the programming that you had there on that first track. Then Sound Minds came back with an even, like, iller flip. Like a super hard beat, which is exactly what I'm looking for. I think Sound Minds. I think your vibe this week. If you guys want to know what I'm looking for as far as beats that really get a response from me, look at what Sound Minds did this week, and Verse as well. So on the next one, Verse had a just extremely dope flip. it actually, like, I wrote because I caught myself making the ugly face, like just the. I wrote down made ugly face on there. I thought you won the round with that beat, the individual round, and something like I could just hear Outkast on it, just Southern funk, like that track was incredible. And then Sound Mind, you came back with a dope flip, dope drums, really nice track, but Verse had kind of killed it on that one. And then the third round, Sound Mind's like when that snare first hit, I wrote down woo, because I'm sitting there in my apartment by myself, and excuse me, let me just turn off my phone. And I with the headphones on, and when that joint dropped, I literally went woo, and that was the only beat of the day that I had that reaction to. So based on that, I mean, it was super, super close. Again, this is my favorite battle of the day, easily. You guys both killed it, but I had to give the victory to Sound Minds this time. But yeah, you guys put on a show for sure. So congratulations on that. Next battle was Lou against Mental to God. I think on this one, I gave the victory on this one to Mental to God. I think your programming was really dope this week, and I gotta highlight that your dynamics. You really did your thing as far as putting a set together where the beats really had some nice movement, a lot of changes, and I didn't kind of didn't know what was coming next. So you definitely kept my attention for the whole time. So definitely a salute to Mental to God for kind of coming back and putting on a way better. I thought your performance this week was way better than last week. So kudos to you on that. And then the last battle of the day, Flames Emoji against Moods and Vibrations. This was another great battle. This is probably the second best battle of the day, in my opinion. Two really opposing styles, and I mean, Flames is we know about Flames with the sick keys and the changes and the very dynamic beats. You never know what's coming next. And then Moods and Vibrations, man, the stuff that you brought today was I thought was very similar to Sound Minds, in that you really got a grasp of whether you consciously or subconsciously, you got a grasp of what I'm looking for in battle beats and just beats in general. I really dig your sound for sure. So yeah, Flames came out with this sick keys and lots of changes, and then Moods, you had really, really hard first beat with real nice programming, dirty drums. You even had some synths in there. Second round, Flames had just ill bass line with, again, like the keys. The stuff you're doing with the keys is really serious, and I definitely appreciate that. And then Mood's second track, I love that vibe. The overall vibe, the chops are just sick, dope beat altogether. I will say though, one note that I wrote down for you is that on this specific track, the second track that you played, is that we all like the sort of off kilter drums, a little bit sloppy, either turn the quantize off or turn the swing way up. Sometimes you can get a little too sloppy with it, and I thought the sample chops and programming was awesome, and then it seemed like the drums were just a little bit too sloppy for my liking on this one. But I think you get what I'm saying. But just watch out for that. There is a limit to like the whole extra swing type sloppy drums thing. So just be aware of that. And then the final round, Flames, that last beat was just absolutely fire. It was the one, I think maybe the first beat that you played this whole time that was really like a battle beat. Like that's what I'm looking for. That was an incredible battle beat, and I think that put it over the top for you. I give the victory to Flames emoji. Um, no slight against moods and vibrations. I just think that if you go back and listen to it, also Flames' sound is a bit more full. So moods, definitely look at how you're EQing a little bit, because it could be a little bit more knocking, but still great matchup, great performance by both of you guys. But Flames, I gave the edge just based on that last beat, kind of put it over the top. So salute to y'all. And I guess that was that the last battle? Yeah, I think that was it. That was it. Yeah. Last battle of the day. Jay Clyde, I'm out. Peace.